Hey, what's happening everyone? Welcome back to another video, and I know it has been a long time since I have been uploading frequently. Videos have been going up every 2 weeks and they're not that exciting. You guys have been waiting long enough for some new fresh VR content, and I'm right now trying my best to save up and get some new hardware in so we can review it. Today what we have on our table is the 1080 Ti, and this was an upgrade that I wanted to do a long time ago. I know the 1070 came out and the 1080 and the 1080 Ti, and I was like, I could just pay a little extra and get something better. And at the same time, I had the GTX 970, which if you don't know, when VR first released with the CV1 and the HTC Vive, the minimum spec was a GTX 970. So my card that I have right now is the bottom of the barrel. It is the minimum spec. In fact, it is no longer the minimum spec because the 1060 is now the standard for minimum spec VR. So what made me get the 1080 Ti early on now and not earlier or in 2 weeks or a month is because Pimax is actually going to be passing by Vancouver, and I'm going to get a chance to try out the Pimax VR and get to demo it. So if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section below and I'll try to answer it and include it in the demo review and my thoughts on it when I do get my hands on it to check it out. I'm only going to be playing around with their pre-production model for a day or so, just a couple hours really, and we're actually going to be trying it out possibly in this room. And we're actually going to be trying to run it on my current HTC Vive base stations, and we're going to try to run both systems at the same time, the Vive and the Pimax 8K. But yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. So let's turn on the lights and see what we have here. So what we have here is the GTX 1080 Ti from iGame Colorful Vulcan AD edition, I believe. I'll put it somewhere here. So why did I get this one over something like a brand name from EVGA or Asus or MSI? What I have right now, I'll show you after I take it apart, is the GTX 970 100 millions edition. And it fits really nicely with my build since it does have a backplate and it is also in green. And I've also wanted to get some nice looking GPU and not just a regular looking old GPU like the previous MSI design with the red colors or the Asus Strix, which honestly I built way too many of them when I was working as a tech and they just look boring. Now iGame has a bunch of different designs, and apparently according to the box here, they actually take suggestions from the community and they apparently include them in their future designs. So they have the Kudan, the Vulcan, and the Neptune designs. The Neptune I believe is like the water-cooled version. Actually I think they have like 5 or 6 different GPUs of 1080 Ti's from iColorful, which is pretty amazing, and they all look just crazy. But in specific, I really like this one, and it was around an acceptable price point. So that is what I went for. And I believe the clock speed on this thing is just like the EVGA for the win, that really cool looking one, which I was actually planning to get. But unfortunately, I could not get it in time because it is out of stock from Amazon. So I went on GearBest and ordered this one because I had my eyes on it other than the EVGA one. And the only 2 other cards that I really liked, I'll put them right here. One of them is the MSI Trio, and the other one is another one from iColorful, which is I believe the Kudan, or Kudan, whatever it is. It's monstrous. And one last thing before we open this thing up is that I wanted to get my hands on this because I was looking on YouTube for reviews or any close-up videos of this thing because I thought it looked pretty dang awesome. But unfortunately, I couldn't find any clean close-up videos of this thing. Even Linus made a video about the different cards from iColorful and Galax. But anyways, here we go. So enough talk, let's open this up. So first of all, we got a nice kind of a velvet texture on this padding right here. So that's for protection. And then we got this pan flip, which let's see if it's in English or in Chinese. So we got a kind of a card that has details on it, drivers, and the manual is actually in English and Chinese, pretty much, I think, yeah, Korean, Japanese. Isn't every language you need, but who needs that? And then we get a little pouch here, and this is a really nice pouch, iGame logo. Let's open that up right here. So let's take this out, see what's inside. Okay, so we get another pair of gloves, the same exact gloves that we have saw on the side bust headset stand. And yeah, I think that is so we can, yeah. Then you get some mangled iGame Velcros, and finally a screwdriver. Interesting. This is the first time I see something like that inside a GPU box. Oh, and one last thing, and this seems to be, oh, that's actually pretty cool. So this is something that I really like. I mean, I think this is a first that I would see something like this inside a GPU box. Usually from EVGA, you'd get like a poster that I personally just put back in the box. But this is actually really cool, I gotta say. And finally, the card itself. Let's take it out. And man, oh man, does it feel awesome. Okay, so more padding. Oh, and check this out. We get inside some adapters, which I won't be using. They're basically Molex to 8-pin adapters, 2 of them. And wouldn't recommend using them, but if you really have to, then there you go. But I mean, if you're buying a 1080 Ti, why don't you have a proper power supply? So here's what they look like. Nicely sleeved, I gotta say, props to that. But yeah, they do look like pretty nice quality, but I still wouldn't recommend using them. Let's put everything that we don't need back in the box. Here we go, guys. We're gonna open this thing up, and it's gonna be freaking awesome. And I wanna show you guys what this thing looks like, because I am a truly big fan of this design. I really like it, and not many other companies go all out when it comes to design anymore. Unlike before, now they're just boring designs and just remade designs, especially like the Asus Strix and the Twin Frozers from MSI. Anyways, this is gonna be a breath of fresh air, that's for sure. Here we go. And here it is, guys. This is just as I expected. It looks pretty amazing. So I don't know if I'm gonna take this apart and do a Gamer's Nexus in-depth analysis on it, because I wanted to review this, and if anyone was gonna review this, I wanted to be it, but who knows? So you see the fan blades are kind of separated. We'll see how the airflow is. This whole bracket is not plastic, it is indeed metal, so it feels good and it does feel like high quality. And this part right here does not spin, it's just a metal heatsink, part of the design as well. And we got another fan right here, and you can see what the logos look like here, so pretty cool. The sticker here is not centered, but I'm not even going to be able to see that. Here's an underlook at the profile and the connector itself. It looks pretty good, and yeah, once again, it looks beautiful. Everything seems to be properly cooled. The VRAMs have pads on them that are connected directly to the heatsink, so that's good. And here are the fan connectors and probably the LED connectors as well. Moving on to the back, we got 4 heat pipes, and on the top is where you're mainly going to be seeing this card inside your case. iGame logo right here, can't see that. Let me zoom in on that, right there. And the 2 8X power connectors. And now let's take a look at the back here. We got some product serial and registration stickers right here, and let's just go ahead and get some unpeel therapy going on here. Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah, this looks pretty awesome as well. Nothing too crazy. It's pretty clean and sleek looking. Red and black, not too intrusive. We got a kind of a metallic glossy texture on top of a matte texture right here. It's a nice mix of both. The stickers here, some people might not like them. You can remove them, but then you're gonna have those brackets, but whatever. Taking on the top here, we got some cool looking tabs for the SLI bridges, so that's cool. And finally, let's take a look at the ports, which is something that I need now since I have 3 monitors and a VR headset or 2, or the Pimax 8K is going to run off 2 DVI ports, so I'm going to need those extra ports. This is the turbo buttons. The type of material they use here is kind of a gunmetal, and we got a DVI port, 3 display ports, and an HDMI, so a pretty nice amount of ports. We're not missing out on much, and yeah. So a DVI, 3 display ports, and an HDMI. And that is actually pretty much it for this card. This card looks beautiful once again, and I really dig how this thing looks. So it's going to be pretty interesting how it performs, and if I can overclock it, and how the thermal performance is. But without further ado, let's finally go ahead and install this thing. But yeah, here's my build, and I really like it, and customize it to my liking. It's quiet, and it has a ton of airflow. And that is why I chose this fractal design defined as, because I got 3 140mm in the front, 140mm in the back. They all are at low RPM, and 2 more fans right here with the H212 with an overclock 4690K at 4.2 GHz. I'll leave all the specs here or whatever. That's the GTX 970 that I'm going to miss. I'm probably going to be putting it in my second PC and try to run 2 VRs at the same time. Possibly it's going to be the Pimax 8K and the HTC Vive, 2 SSDs and 3 hard drives, and a trusty EVGA 750 watt G2 power supply. And there's one more fan right down there. It's a 120 intake fan. So yeah, let's go ahead and finally power this thing down. And I'm probably not going to be able to see anything when I do that. Here we go. Case off. Oh boy, yeah. So I got to clean this thing up. Ever since I put it in this position on my desk, I haven't been able to really get at it and clean it up. So yeah, I think it's a good time to clean everything. And yeah, let's go ahead and do that. And unplug all the crazy amount of wires that I have plugged in for a bunch of different various things here. Yeah, the GPU is pretty much filled. There are actually no more ports to plug in anything extra anymore in this thing. So that GPU is going to really come in handy when I'm going to have to plug in more things. But that's all that. Alright, so here's the computer, and I gotta say it's pretty dirty. That's probably because I put it in that position, so it wasn't really easy to clean anyways. Let's get my trusty brush right here, my cleaning brush. I should really be cleaning this place up and putting it in a pan or something, but this is just going to end up going back in the computer anyways. So first things first, let's take this apart right here. and that's pretty dirty, so I'm going to take care of that later on. And let's take a look at what the front is going to look like. So what you want to do here is carefully open your dusty panel up and move it slowly. So I'm also going to take that apart and dust it outside. And at this point, I'm going to get my heavy duty duster, but I'm going to go ahead and take the card out and clean it separately since I'm going to be removing it anyways. And yeah, the duster that I have, it's pretty powerful. And I'm going to try to stop all the fans from spinning while I'm cleaning it because that might just kill the machine. But yeah, here's my beloved card that I've been using for the past 2.5 years or so now. It has done the job, served me well, and overall, I really dig how it looks, especially with the green in the back plate right here. Limited edition, whoa. Anyways, I'm not going to give up on this card. I'm probably going to put it in my second machine. Actually, the card itself is not even that dirty, but let's try to see what happens here. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw that. It's not really that dirty. It's pretty clean. Put that aside. And now here's my duster right here. Now this thing is about $100 or so. And although it is pretty powerful, and I totally recommend getting this if you're a tech and you clean a lot of computers often, totally recommend this, but once you do get it, make sure you seal all the gaps all around it. There are a lot of gaps all around this thing, and especially around this part right here, so totally recommend doing that, and also close up this gap right here. It also gets pretty hot pretty quick, but enough talk, let's go ahead and clean this thing up. So I'm gonna start off on the bottom here. Okay, so it's actually pretty clean, and it seems like the panels have done their job very well because there's not a lot of dust that was flying around. Yeah, let me go ahead and clean the rest up, those dirty panels, and we'll be back in just a bit here. So there we go, pretty clean. So I used a mix of the duster and the brush, and now let's put those back on and finally install the card. Now I know this video is pretty long, but you guys deserve some kind of fun video, so here you go. So yeah, I think we are now ready to install the new GPU. Let's go ahead and bring in this card right here and finally take one last look at this thing. Make sure there are no stickers or anything that I can take off. Oh, there we go. There's one right here. And there we go. And yeah, here's the last look at this thing. Yeah, let's install it. Now you may be asking, is this thing heavy? Not by a whole lot compared to the MSI one that I had. Alright, so check out that beautiful GPU sag. That's one. And that is two. So 2 connectors connected, fully ready to get launched up. And yeah, that sag is not that bad actually. Here are the finishing touches. Put back the front panel on. And all the dust filters are back in there as well. And I totally forgot, I gotta clean the window as well. So be right back. So there we go, a beautiful sagging 1080 Ti GPU inside a case. And this case, although it looks empty, it's pretty damn heavy. There are 3 hard drives in the back of this thing. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead, cool down the room, plug in everything else, and we'll be back in just a bit once again. Everything is plugged in, dusted up, kind of, and yeah, let's power it up and see what happens. Alright. So far so good. The GPU is lighting up. The computer is powering up. Now let's see what my motherboard and CPU think of it. Okay, so it thinks that's the main display, and that's probably because it is plugged into DVI. That's fine. Alright, so let me turn off the lights here, and if you notice, there's a red glow under the GPU. Now it's not that obvious until I turn off the lights in here, and that looks pretty beastly. Let me adjust the camera here as well. So that is what it kind of looks like. Pretty dope if you ask me. And that looks like a nuclear reactor, and I love it. It looks beautiful, it looks crazy. Kind of reminds me of Doom for some reason. But yeah, that looks pretty awesome. I really like it. Alright, we are done, and now we are just testing out the GPU. I played around with it and actually got the chance to play some games with the HTC Vive. And yeah, there's definitely a big improvement when it comes to graphics. Space Pirate Trainer pushed the graphics levels all the way up to 100%. The game looked gorgeous, much more enjoyable. I can sleep better, and overall the experience was much better, which is as to be expected. 970, 1080 Ti, right? So the future bit, I'm going to have a video, and I'm going to be comparing the 970 versus the 1080 Ti in terms of VR. And I'm pretty much going to be talking about if it's worth upgrading and what should you upgrade to. I'm going to try to answer that and find out what the difference is. Because for a long time I've been trying to find out if it's worth paying the extra money to get a GTX 1070, 1060, or a 1080 or a 1080 Ti. So I just went ahead and got the best of the best. So this is what it looks like. It looks pretty awesome. Let's turn off the lights here. So I changed the colors on my case to red to match the whole thing. It's pretty quiet and the temperatures are pretty okay as well. It doesn't seem like to surpass 74, 80 degrees Celsius. It's fine right there. I tried to overclock it, but it didn't work. So I might spend time later on, but right now it's pretty fine. And the overclock button in the back of the GPU doesn't seem to be actually doing anything when pressed. But pressed or not pressed, the GPU does hit 1900 and above. So right now it's 1974, sometimes it's 1984. But yeah, it does overclock itself pretty good when it comes to GPU boost 3.0. But yeah, that is actually pretty much it. You can see the temperatures right now, 72 degrees for a mark stress test. But that is all. So anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. We're going to be testing out the HTC Vive and playing some games. We're going to have the Pimax soon, so if you have any questions, let me know. And I'm going to try to order the PS4 Pro, the new PSVR headset, and the Samsung Microsoft AR headset. So anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone. Long video, but yeah, bye.